Hello everyone, I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And this is Millennial Mom. And in today's video, we are here to bring you all Season 11, Episode 2 of Married at First Sight. I never met my fiance, and I'm wondering who they're using that title for.
The reference? I don't know.
Well, let's get into the video. So we are picking back up with Karen and Miles. We see her still in the room with production talking about, I don't know if I can go through with this. I saw his IG. He's still emotional, all the other stuff. And I don't know, I wasn't really here for her because she already knew what she signed up for, especially when she came on the confessional and said, I'm not really a risk taker.
Yeah, I mean, to be on Married at First Sight is taking a risk. I mean, I don't know what you thought this was, Karen, but you taking a risk.
Plus, her mom was talking to her. She just seemed very gracious and nice on this episode. Kind of reminded me of my grandma.
Grandma? Not me?
No, maybe you in episode 1, but not at this episode. And she called Karen, she's very quiet and modest, but I'm like, she must be a little bit something extra if she's on this show.
Yeah, well, sometimes there's things that maybe your parents don't know about you. But Karen is just all over the place for me. I mean, once she got that text, she just lost it. Like, she didn't know what to do. She didn't know if she should continue anything. I mean, she almost gives the impression that she actually may know who he is. Not like somebody like, oh, hey, here's the person you're marrying. Because she just doesn't seem comfortable with any of it. Just not the process, just the whole thing in general. Miles and the process. But now we see Miles now. He is with his family and he is ready to get married.
He looks good.
He looks good. And his dad gives him advice telling him to, the more you put in, the more you get out. But be careful of the withdrawal fees because depending on the situation, you're going to have to pay extra for that. Pretty much. Happy wife, happy life.
That's pretty much. At a bank?
I don't know, but that was his reference. Now at the wedding, Miles walks in. It's so nice. He's such a gentleman. I even thought that to myself, like, wow, like I hope Cassandra marries someone that's such a gentleman from the beginning and all the way through, because that's the vibes he was giving me.
He was. I'm not gonna lie.
He spoke to everybody. He even gave Karen's mom a hug, and even was, as you said, gracious with that. Like, it's nice to meet you. I'm Miles, and, things like that. Back in the back, Karen is like, I don't know if I could do this. You know what? Karen is starting to irk a nerve a little bit.
Yeah, she was with me too.
Because her being dramatic, listen, Karen, you're either going through it or you're not. Pretty much. Regardless of what you know. I mean, you don't have to do this. But she decides to do it. She comes down the aisle. She's nervous, but she's smiling. Once she gets to that altar, Miles is like, I got you. Maybe he could feel her energy,
Yeah, because she wasn't really speaking at all. She was just kind of like, maybe cried a tear or two. Well, a lot of tears.
Yeah.
But she wasn't really speaking to him. So that's why I was kind of surprised when we got to her vows. And she was like, I can just see that you're so brave. But in the back of my mind, I was like, don't you mean emotional? Because you never said brave. Now, one time while you were looking at those IG photos.
Now they go out to the terrace to learn about each other.
He pulled out her chair and everything. I was like, you don't really see that too much nowadays.
You don't. So she breaks the ice and says, I already knew who you were. I saw your IG, this and that. He was like, what? You saw that how? She's like, one of my bridesmaids sent a text.
But that's not the story we got.
But that's the story we got today.
Well, I thought it was interesting that while she said that she saw his IG page and he was like, was it bad? She's like, no, but maybe you should keep it on private. I was like, Karen, you lied. Like, how come you just didn't tell the man the truth?
You know what? Not only did she lie, but let's hope that his IG page isn't like a Taylor page.
Okay. And I was also thinking, like, now is production or the experts going to have more regulations with like phones and social media for people who go through this process? Because this seems like it's starting to be a problem. And who sent that text?
I don't know who sent the text. Maybe after the honeymoon, we'll find out like we normally do. So the newest thing that I noticed that experts do is photographs, not just the bride and groom, it's the whole family this time. I thought that was nice. The whole family on both sides seemed comfortable, and that was a good start. I thought so, didn't you?
I did, because it seemed like it made them a little bit more comfortable, especially for Karen, since she's so apprehensive, even though she's, not a risk taker, but on the show. For her to actually do the photos, which I felt like eased them in to the reception.
Yeah, I think so too. Speaking of the reception, they do their first dance. Their dance was awkward. Miles wasn't awkward at all. It was just mainly Karen. Hopefully she could shake this off as time goes on, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And then when they did the toast from the friends and family, those were nice too. It was a different vibe. I just really don't know with this couple still. I'm still on the fence with them.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait a couple episodes to see how they progress.
Yeah, I think they're a beautiful couple. I can see them might possibly working out, especially because Miles just has their whole life planned out already. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be from Karen or if it's going to be from Miles. It's definitely going to be from one of them, or they might come together. The next couple we finally get to see is Olivia and Brett. I was surprised because I didn't know that you can give, or do they have to give their spouse their own ring that they purchase themselves?
Now see, once again, this is the different vibe thing. I thought they all had standard wedding bands. But when she said Diamond Direct, I was like, oh, you bought your own ring, girl?
Right. Diamond for Brett? I was like, child, I was just so nervous for her with that. And then we found out that she gifted him their own star.
Well, that was different. Did that really cost her a lot of money? I mean, you could buy your own star or donate or volunteer, whatever your star.
It's not the fact that it costs money or not. It's just all the thought that she's already putting in. And I was just so nervous for her because I'm like, this girl seems like the type that would pay off all his debts.
Well,
and I'm just like, he's not seeming like the type to do anything, because he called the gift of the star nerdy but thoughtful. I was like, oh my gosh. And then Brett's family didn't make it any better.
They didn't make it any better. And the thing that they have in comments to me is their cats. Because that's what they both kept talking about individually and then together at the altar. But my thing with Brett is he actually surprised me just a little bit. And it's going to take many more episodes for me to get past that sarcasm that he gave in the first episode. Because he's on Zach times 1,000 for me. But, when they got married and they were giving their vows, he seemed sincere. And I was surprised. Olivia seemed sincere too, because that's who she is. But Brett, I was like, that's a big turnaround from last week. Maybe, someone talked to him about that. I don't know. Maybe one of the guys texted him was like, well, what was going on, Brett? And he came around in a different light, because I was surprised.
I was surprised too, because he did seem sincere. I wasn't expecting that. It didn't faze me. I still feel how I feel.
I didn't say I was fazed. I said maybe you could change my mind in a couple episodes.
Well, you're more lenient with the people because you have more wisdom in life than I have. But I just wasn't feeling Brett. But I was really shocked that he said that Olivia is his type. I was like, is this going to work out?
Well, it's his type with a comma, if you ask me, because what he said was she's attractive. And since he's a serial dater and he's dated 45 women in 2 years.
Jeez, you remember the stats?
I do, because I'm not a Brett fan right now. As long as she's attractive, because he even told that to the guys, he was okay with it. So he finds Olivia attractive. So to me, that's a comma.
Olivia just seemed like she was just talking about herself the whole time, even though Brett was asking about her. I mean, from afar, it might have looked like he was interested, but you know how shady the camera people in production are. They kept zooming in on his face, and to me, it kind of looked like he was bored with her.
I didn't get bored. I got nervous and kind of like didn't know what to say, because I'm telling you, Olivia led the way, and Brett was just kind of like reserved. Like, where was this Brett last week?
And that also leads into the reception with his brother, who I thought was just going to say something off the wall, outlandish, sarcastic. Just the whole thing they've been doing since episode 1, which I can't believe was only last week.
I'm glad that he didn't, because that sarcasm just isn't for everybody. Because even like he said at the reception, you know, if we're picking at you at the picnics, this and that, just know it's love. But some people don't take it that way, especially the tone of the sarcasm. But he did give some funny little things about Brett when he was younger and the things he got into. So that was cute.
Some of the jokes and insight that led me to believe that even though Brett seems like he's sarcastic and, you know, he's rude, maybe Olivia just has to peel back the layers, because maybe Brett is really soft inside.
Yeah, I think Brett was hurt from his last engagement for what he said, which caused him to be the dater that he is. He did say he was looking for love. I just think there's a lot of hurt in there that, you know, maybe he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, but this makes me worried for Olivia. Like, what is he going to bring for Olivia to the table?
Yeah.
So now we are going to move into who I think is going to be Mom's favorite couple.
You know, I have one every season, and I think this is my favorite couple.
Woodrow, a.k.a. Woody, and Imani.
Yeah, so we see Woody getting together for the wedding. You know what? It just reminded me of the song Number One Stunner. With his shades, his jacket.
That's
he's
my
like,
song too.
You know, in the mirror getting ready, I was like, you know what? You do that. You do that, Woody.
He looked good.
He did look good. But, you know, when his mom comes and his grandma comes, he gets emotional because he's thinking about his dad. How his dad wasn't there for him. Like he mentioned in the first episode. And, you know, he doesn't want to have that life. He wants to be there for his wife going forward. And he just wants to have the best life he can live.
I did. I felt for Woody in this scene. I was like, Woody, don't cry.
So, you know, his mom and grandma was like, you know, you could tell us if you're not ready. I know when you're not ready. Look at me. Oh, so you ready? I was like, you know what? I'm going to like that. So now we see Amani. And Amani, you know, her thing is she's calm, cool, and reserved. But I don't know. I get that, but I don't. I can't put my finger on this. But one of her bridesmaids says, it's like, you know what? He better be good to you, because if not, I'm going to jail. Never been to jail before, but I'm going to jail for you.
Right, let's pray.
Right. I was like, no.
I'm like, we needed her last season.
Right. Where were you? Well, Amani is excited too. She's nervous. She doesn't know how it's going to go. You know, she hasn't had the best relationships either, but she just hopes he's the one, because she really wants to be in love. And I'm like, uh-oh. You really want to be in love, or you want to find love? So it's two different things for me.
So what did Woody say? Did Woody say he wants to find love, or does he want to be in love?
Woody said he wants to be in love. He wants to have that life, that wife, kids, everything. Woody is doing it. He wants you to know everything, like what it is from A to Z. He named them off, but it's too much for the video. So now we get to the wedding, and again, walks in. He's a gentleman too. You know, they were all gentlemen this season, walking in, saying hello and greeting everybody. And Amani is in the back, stressing. I don't know if I could do it. How come no one told me about these nerves, so on and so forth. I'm like, come on, Amani. Come on. You know, she finally goes through with it too. She's walked down the aisle by her stepdad and her dad. That was nice to me.
I thought it was nice too. That part also really touched me, because I just love to see how we could see them all in the same room. Because, you know, sometimes people have like beef with the stepfather and the father. They don't want to be together. But I'm really happy they showed that.
Now Amani gets the altar. She gives her hand to Woody like, hey, I'm Amani. He's like, I'm Woody. But he kisses her hand. I'm like, okay.
I was like, he's just coming off real Mr. Suave right now.
Yeah.
Woody. I was feeling it. I was like, do I like Woody? Am I switching from Bennett to Woody?
Oh,
I'm not.
Okay. So they give their vows, and again, Amani's nervous. And you know what Woody says? He said, I got you. That's exactly what Miles said. And I'm like, see, they are friends.
Did they rehearse it together?
I don't know, but he said, I got you. And I just think that's nice for the men to, if you know that they're nervous and they're both in the same situation as you, to let you know it's okay. It's a comfort kind of thing. Now, while Woody's giving his vows, he's like, you know, for richer, not for poorer, for poor. I was like, well, Well, you go ahead, Woody. I mean, he's letting you know, like I said, from A to Z, what it is, what it's going to be.
Also, before they even got to go to their vows, that I thought was funny, that his people introduced him as, Mr. Party, Mr. Life of the Party. And Amani was like, what?
Yeah, but he was like, I'm telling you, they're the couple to watch outside of Bennett and Olivia.
And so we finally get to see them outside. They seemed very, very, very comfortable with each other.
They did. They had a connection. Well, Woody said he had a connection with Amani. But one of the things that Woody was saying, because I was listening real close to Woody.
I was too.
Was like, so your name Amani, right? She's like, yeah. You mind if I call you Sweets? She was like, no, it's okay. I was like, already? Sweets? That's one thing that Amani noticed, that Woody was being very flirty. I actually noticed that, like, during the vows.
He's also flirty, and he always has something to say. Like, one of the things that he said to her was, oh, so what do you mix with?
Black and black?
When I heard that, I'm like, that's something Mom would say. But on top of that, he was like, yeah, people always think I mix too, but it's all black. We chocolate. We gonna give somebody cavities. I was like, Woody, who are you?
I don't know, but it's cracking me up.
It was funny.
Yeah. Amani takes that as flirty, funny too. They're vibing, he kisses her hand again. He's trying to make her comfortable. And
he is super direct.
And here's the thing. She said she likes to party too. That was in her vows. I forgot to touch on that. And when they were getting to know each other, they're like, oh, you like to party? Here go that swag. I'm telling you. That's
when they went to the reception and they had like the little clips and she was doing her move and he was like, hey. I was like, is this a party or is this a wedding? Like, I don't know.
I missed it. Whatever it was. I should have been there. Call me.
So I can already see that they're having a connection. But while I can see that they're having a connection, I can also see that Imani she doesn't seem apprehensive, but she does look like she's using her third eye on him.
Yeah, on the real, that's right. Because you know what? Again, her thing about her is calm, cool, and reserved. So you can't be calm, cool, reserved, and the party girl at the same time.
Yes, you can.
Okay. But I agree. The third eye, her spidey senses is tingling a little bit because she's letting him take the lead for now. There's nothing wrong with the man taking lead, but I mean, he's just so flirty and out there that she's like, okay, kind of like, tell me more kind of thing so I could get to know what you're about.
So there we get the preview for Amelia and Bennett's wedding. And I thought it was so cute that Bennett gave her a necklace and a note prior to the wedding. I don't know about you, Mom, never seen anybody on Married at First Sight give gifts before. I'm like, they are stepping up this season.
No, again, like I said, the experts have done something different. Maybe they encourage that. I don't know. But the gift that Bennett sent was a little pebble that he found while hiking. Now, there's something brown, something blue. Was it blue?
I don't know what it was, but whatever it was a nice gift. And while Amelia and her bridesmaids looked all eccentric, even the mom, I was thinking Bennett could have wore that hat.
He could have wore the hat because he would have blended right in. But the thing that I thought was funny was when he was laying on the bed or his friends were talking to him, like, what are you looking forward to? He's like, well, of course, being intimate. I've been intimate in a while. And I'm like,
he said 6 months exactly. I was like, Bennett, what have you been doing? Who is the real Bennett?
Well, when his mom came in the room, the funniest thing to me, she looked down and was like, where are your socks? Because he still had those dirty white socks that he had on in the bed. And I was like, please change those socks. Not only the dirty white
socks, Mom, but I also noticed that his friends had hole in the socks. So I'm like, so they just all do the same thing.
Maybe that's all they had in their drawer. They was sharing socks. I don't know.
His mom was like, your hair is not together. You got the socks. Like, you want to look good. You want to smell nice. He was like, well, it's whatever.
Well, he said whatever, and I put on deodorant. I was like, thank you.
He said sometimes he put on deodorant.
Oh, well.
Amelia's mom was basically like, if you can find love, anybody can find love. I was like, the shade Amelia's mom.
Well, it's not shade because you kind of know your kids, right? You know what they're into for the most part. And Amelia is eccentric, so that's why she said that. I mean, look at what she had on. She had her dress and the bird's nest in her hair. She thought that was cute. I was like, that's a bird's nest. I was trying to see what it was.
So we finally get to see her bridesmaids come down in a unicycle.
Yeah, now wasn't that different?
It was different. The whole atmosphere in that room was different.
Yeah, because before they came down, when Bennett walked in and some of the people on Amelia's side were wearing masquerade masks, I was like, uh-oh. Here we go.
And then we finally see Amelia walk down the aisle.
But before she did, she dropped another bombshell. How do you happen to know the person you're marrying?
Right. How they both, one, know each other. Two, how the experts in all of New Orleans find two quirky, eccentric people and they already so happen to know each other. How is that possible?
I don't know. Well, she walks down the aisle anyway, and when she gets up there, she's like, hi. He's like, hi. The pastor starts the vows and is like, okay, this is Amelia. He's like, I already know who she is. I was like,
right there, like, should we say something? He's like, now I gotta change the vows.
what a mess. Now, see, the couple that I thought would make it this whole season was Bennett and Amelia, but since they already know each other, who's to say?
You know, by the way he sounded, I don't know if he likes or cares for her. And the same kind of goes for Amelia as well.
It's not how they sounded. It was the look they had on their face like, oh my gosh, it's you. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Like I mentioned, that was the number one couple I thought would make it. And now, not so sure.
All right, everyone. So that was the end of this week's episode. I felt like it was kind of long-winded and drawn out. They definitely could have showed everybody on this episode.
Yeah.
But while they did it, I actually kind of am starting to like some of these couples.
Oh, yeah?
Together. I still feel the same way about who's going to stay together, but I just kind of like them more, especially compared to last season. What do you think, Mom?
Well, compared to last season or last week?
Both.
Well, last season was just a different season on itself. But this week, I still stand the same except Amelia and Bennett. Now, I don't know who's going to make it. I know that two people have potential. But outside of that, I don't know. I still think it's going to take a couple more episodes so we get to know the personalities, especially from Karen and Miles. And now, Bennett and Amelia. Because now Brett, we already know what he's about. But Bennett and Amelia?
That's just a whole coin flip in itself.
It is.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you guys let us know in the comments down below what you thought about this week's episode. And who you think is going to make it, because now it just seems like we don't know anymore. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and you also subscribe to our channel, as well as share this video to other people who watch Married at First Sight.
Thank you all for watching, and as always, live simply, be grateful.